You guys can go explore the town, or you can simply just wait, and wait for the boat to depart again. You do notice, however, that Caradoc appears to be disembarking here.
Nobody cares.
Okay, fantastic.
Well, I may as well say the farewell.
Okay, cool. And he greets you, and he has that nervous laughter, and he's like, thanks, Baron. I appreciate it. I hope that from now on I can ride horses. I feel much better on those than I do on these boats.
Sailing's not to everybody's taste, but as long as you find what you want to do in life, then you'll get on far.
Yes, indeed. Well, take care, and I hope that the waves greet you well. I don't think that's how it's said, but whatever the seafaring folks say.
Farewell to you too, Kevin.
Yeah, and he nods and disembarks and goes about his business. Does anyone want to do anything in Aberheim, or do we want to just continue on?
I want to get my shit identified.
All right, so the boat departs.
What?
Leaving Hannibal behind.
Wait, what?
No, I'm kidding, Hannibal. So, since this is the capital of Averland, it probably has at least location of all the different orders.
Which one would be an order dealing with enchantments?
Probably, there's a couple, probably. The Gold Order would be probably the most adept. The Gold Order deals with all things material when it comes to magic. It's kind of where their focus is. But it's run by a lot of dwarves and halflings, and you don't always get straight answers or cooperation with the Gold Order. Just ask Milo.
Yeah, I'm fine with the Gold Order because, dwarf buddies.
Right. You do at least know how to talk to them.
Yeah, so I asked, anybody else want to come along? Anybody don't need something identified?
I'll take you up on the offer, Hannibal.
Cool, you're paying.
All right, sure.
Don't go too far off. We'll be leaving soon.
So yeah, I head out there.
Cool.
Chester following in tow.
So,
I think Aelin would see the two of them going and say, "Oh, would you mind a third?"
Sure.
Of course, Aelin. Come along.
Oh, lovely.
Great. Great.
Half expecting you to say no, but okay.
Grumble. Grumble, grumble.
So Averheim is fairly far from the Dwarven Kingdoms, but Averland does have a fairly large population of halflings, and so I think when you arrive, you see outside there's like the traditional like golden hammer and anvil with like the magic circle around it, and that's how they like identify the guild hall of the Gold Order. And as you enter, there is a small, like younger halfling, probably a teenager, essentially. And you can see he was like fiddling with something on his bench, or his desk, I should say. That's like right there. And he looks up and he says, "Oh, greetings! How can I help you?"
Yes, I would like to get some items identified.
Very well, very well. That is something we can do. As long as you have the coin for it.
How much?
Well, the reagent costs 100 gold, but since they are reusable for a certain amount of time, we typically charge around 25 per item identification.
Okay, what if I'd be willing to part with these items?
Well, then you wouldn't need them identified, would you?
Still want to know. I have, let's say I have a set. I'm talking like the 6 potions I have.
Okay. So like you
I
want to
have-
see if like, well, yeah, because technically it's one item, but you know it's a group of potions. If you know what one potion does, and you probably know what the rest of the potions do, etc., etc.
Yes.
So he probably says, yes, if we sign up the contract and you agree to not withhold any information or items about where these were located, and agree that they are the sole possession and inheritance of the Gold Order, yes, I think we can do that. And of course, as a parting gift, we can perhaps pay you if they are worth even more than what they are sold for.
I also have some fairly interesting notes that we recently got. What that means anything to you? The Skaven scrolls that I got.
I think he looks a little bit confused. He's like, notes? What are these? Tinkering notes?
Yes, they're talking about how to apply certain magics to metals in new and interesting ways.
Oh, indeed. That would be quite interesting. Here.
I can make a translation for you because I imagine he can't read them because they're in Skaven.
You probably not. He's like,
So I
let me grab one of the elders. I'll see what he says about this. Hold on.
okay, sure.
And he runs off, and upon his return, he's with an individual that Chester and Hannibal. Well, I don't know if you were there, Hannibal. Chester, you definitely recognize this person, though.
Mhm.
It is very clearly the same halfling that took those magic books from you.
Oh, I think he likes me.
And I think that it's a her. And as she comes around, she looks. She's like, "Oh my god, not these two again."
Wait, she didn't know
Hi,
me.
dear.
She doesn't know me.
True, you're right. She's like, "Oh boy, not this one again." Well, I guess we better get it over with. And she comes up and she kind of like smiles and she's like, "Well, what do you got?"
I got these. And then I showed her. They're written in a different language, but I can translate them for you. They deal with
Yeah.
They deal with
So
every
she
chance of the metals.
she flips out like a little like spectacles and she like looks at him. She's like, Skaven work. Interesting.
Yes,
Where'd you get this?
from Skaven, in a town. I had to give her the location.
Mulberg. Yeah. She's
Mhm.
like, yeah, heard about that. Shame.
We killed them now.
Interesting. Different properties. You said you're willing to part with these.
I am.
Interesting. What else you have?
I also have some items I'd like to identify. Give you a trade. I give you the note. You identify the items.
I understand that the youngling says that you wish to part with these items, but you wish to know what they
Depending
do.
on what. Yes, that's going to depend on. I'll depart with them when I know what they do. If they're useless to me, or if I don't really see use for me, I'll.
That's not really
more.
how it works, dearie. We either get them identified, you pay us the gold, then we can buy them and work something out that way, or you either give them to us, we'll identify them, and we'll do you the courtesy of giving you what they do. It's your choice, not ours.
All right, then I'll give you one potion. I give her one of my potions immediately.
Sure. She kind of like looks it over and she shakes it and like swirls it around and looks at it and she holds it up and she's like, not an alchemist. Got to get somebody else to look at this. Anything else?
Before you leave, Chester pulls out the book with the clover in it. Just, what does this do?
Yeah. So she like grabs the book and she shakes the book. She like looks at the spine of the book and she just goes, you know, this book's written probably a couple hundred times. It's all over the Empire.
I hate you. I meant the clover.
She kind of like she smiles, she just like nods and she flips open the pages, and she looks and she's like, interesting. Well, don't know what it does. Gotta test it. She kind of like she smells it. She's like, doesn't smell like a clover. Interesting. You looking to sell too, or you want me to identify it and give it back like last time?
Identify. You kept the last ones.
This is true. Useful. Not for me. Other people. She's literally just like staring at you.
Fine. And Chester pulls out 25 gold and hands it to her.
Yeah, she takes the gold and she bites down on a piece and flips it back, and then she flips like one of the gold pieces to the youngling. She's like, youngling will take care of all the paperwork. We'll get this potion identified.
Like, I'm giving her the potion. Like, I don't want her to pay. Like, I'm giving it to her so that she can identify it and keep it. Isn't that how it works?
I nudge Hannibal.
Yes. Yeah.
She's not gonna tell you what the potion does. Just so you know, Hannibal.
Will you not tell me what the potion does?
She looks and she says, if it's interesting.
I have more of them.
Well, then definitely if it's interesting.
I'd also bring out a little tube, the little tube thing in my daggers.
Yeah. So you bring out the tube. She looks at it. She throws the book down, like just closes it on thing. She snatches the tube out of your hand, and she kind of like looks inside of it, like moves it around. She's like looking through it like a telescope, and she's wiggling it, and she bangs it on the desk a few times, and you hear that like clunk, 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 clunk. She looks through it again. She goes, empty. Interesting. I know exactly what this is.
Can you just tell me?
I've seen a couple. Are you willing to part with it? It's quite useful.
If you'll tell me what it is first, I probably don't have a need. I'm just a curious sort.
She kind of laughs. She's like, we don't normally give out freebies, but you seem like a nicer sort than most of your compatriots. And she kind of like looks around. She's like,
thank you.
Especially those other two. The pretty one, he was the only one that mattered, I think.
Mm.
The other one, she was too talky, too righteous. Too much religion for me. Not my thing.
I understand.
Just so you don't flinch at all at that?
None.
Okay.
I absolutely hate this girl.
Sure. Yeah.
Hannibal really likes her. He's considering asking her out.
So she goes, okay, here's the deal. And she throws it to you. And you catch it. And she conjures a firebolt with her hand and throws it at you.
I stick my hand out to try to
defensively, right? So the firebolt goes to hit you, and then gets absorbed through the rod.
What?
And she kind of chuckles. She's like, it's good to know it still works. Well, that could have been bad if it didn't.
Yeah, really bad. What's this? So it absorbs spells?
You look. The rod is heavy now, and you look in it, and you can see it looks like it's holding flame. Inside.
Holy shit! Did I just get something awesome? So I can guess this absorbs spells.
Limited number probably, but rechargeable. Usually you can do it through any number of things, limiting from simple enchantment magic all the way up to sacrifice.
So wait, what she's saying is that this thing absorbs spells.
Uh-huh.
And it can only absorb so many spells?
Correct. But it is rechargeable. Most of them are, at least.
Interesting. I'm sorry to say, but I don't think I can part with such a valuable item in my line of work. How about another potion instead?
Yeah, so she looks and she's like, it's fine. Used one before. Don't need another one. I've seen it once. Only looking for new stuff, really, for myself.
And then, how much was it again to... Oh, yeah, since it's already identified. How about I trade you these Skaven scrolls in exchange? Could you identify these daggers?
She looks at her daggers. Her eyes kind of light up a little bit and twinkle, and she's like, daggers are nice. Well made. Magical.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I can take them as well, and she kind of proffers her hand.
I want you to keep in mind that I want you to identify them in exchange for the Skaven scrolls. Is that all right?
Yeah, seems fine.
Great. And then I hand it to her.
So you hold out the daggers and you go to drop them, and your fist won't open.
It appears I can't let them go.
She's holding out her hand. And she's like, "All you gotta do is give them to me. It's real easy.
No,
Give them to me.
I mean-
spend an hour. I identify them. That's all there is to it.
no. I mean, I literally physically can't let go of my
And then I
hand.
get the Skaven scrolls, and then we can use that for our own benefit. All you have to do is drop them."
No, I mean literally, I can't physically open my hands. I believe that
kinda
they're being held shut.
She looks at you. She looks at Chester. She looks back at you and she goes, "You two are weird."
No, stop it. I mean
Fine.
that literally, I can't open them.
Are you gonna tell me what the clover does, or no?
Not now, Chester.
She kind of like waves her
just-
hand at you and she's like, yes, it's fine. I'll identify that for you. If you don't want me to have the daggers, that's fine."
No, I want you to identify. I can't open my hands.
she probably looks at you and she's like, "Well, that seems like your own problem. Probably
God
cursed."
damn it.
And she says probably cursed, and like turns away and begins walking away.
Get
So-
fucked.
Did she take the book with her?
Yep.
So I turned to Eileen, who is with us.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell these are cursed?
I think that she was probably barely following that entire exchange that just occurred.
That was actually the reason she didn't even interact with you.
Because, yeah, reasons. But I think that she would look at you and say, "Well, I can sure try."
Sure, let's do it.
Do you have detect curse?
I have remove curse.
Ah.
So get wrecked.
I love you.
Yeah, now you like me, huh? Now I'm not so bad.
No, Hannibal's opinion, if this works, immediately shoots up of you.
So yeah, she says it with kind of not that much confidence, but then places her hands on top of both of your hands that I assume are still gripping the two daggers.
Yeah.
And she says a few words, and there's some light that kind of, a very like small light that just kind of goes between her hands and your daggers. And yeah, I'm gonna try to remove the curse, question mark? I guess.
Yeah, cast remove curse.
And she goes say it doesn't work.
All right. All touch curses. Oh, at touch, all curses affecting one creature, object, end. The object is a cursed magic item. It remains. But the spell breaks its owner's attunement to the object, so it can be removed or discarded. Hannibal, you've been struggling to open your fist, and as soon as the spell is cast upon you, your fist flies open, and the daggers clatter to the ground.
I put my hand on Eileen's shoulder and say, "You did good. You did good on this trip."
She just smiles at you, the brightest smile. She's like, "Oh, great! I've never done that before. I'm glad to see it worked."
So you hear
did
from
work.
further away, you hear the female halfling. She goes, "Youngling, grab the tongs, pick those up. I want them."
Yeah, I'll sell those to you. I don't
And
think I want them
She
anymore.
just, like, from the other room goes, "Payment!" And then continues
Yeah, I
doing
get
whatever
that.
she's doing in the other room.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell the Skaven scrolls, and seeing as how I don't want those daggers anymore, considering that they're cursed.
No, she's still going to accept them as payment.
Oh sure, yeah, whatever. Let's do it. Let's get them identified.
She wants the hell out of those, actually.
So yeah, I get the Skaven scrolls.
Okay, it's going to take some time, so we can fast forward to that if nobody else has anything else to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, might as well get them identified first before just.
Cool.
I don't
So,
have any use for the scrolls.
About 2 hours passes. It's getting close. You guys are probably like tapping your feet, like looking at the sun, seeing where it is in the sky, making sure that you're not late. And finally, she comes back, and she says she's holding the daggers in her hands, and she's like twirling one over her hands, like back and forth.
You sure that's a good idea?
She goes, "It's fine. I'm not attuned to them yet. I can still play around with them for perhaps another few minutes." And she's just like twirling around. She throws the book back up on the desk, and she says, "It's a good luck charm.
What do I have to do to activate it?
She kind of looks at you and she goes, "Have it."
I have from other sources that it doesn't just stay working. What do I need to do to make it work?
She like looks. She's like, "Recharge it."
And how do I do that?
I guess that depends on what you get up to, Mr. Fiery Crossbow Guy.
I hate you so much. He picks up the book and walks out.
She just smiles at you again.
How old is she again?
Hard to tell on halflings. But if you had to guess, old. Maybe like 80.
Hmm.
But 80 in halfling is not nearly as old as 80 in human.
Yeah.
It's like 50.
Yeah. It's about right.
So, could you tell me what the daggers do?
She's like, well, I thought it was obvious. They're cursed.
That's it.
Locator spell, I think. Didn't identify him. That would attune me.
All right. How much could you give me for them?
She kind of like looks and she's like, payment.
I'm confused on what she's. Oh, she wants the Skaven scrolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give her the Skaven scrolls.
Yeah. She goes, good. Here's the deal. Whatever was tracking you, it's no longer tracking you anymore. Stopped it. Old magic. Older than me. Older magic than I... Not as old as I know, though. So, took care of it.
Sweet.
Whoever it was, they don't know you any longer. Also removed your information from it. And probably their brains might have fried them. Not sure.
Let's hope.
And she like looks at you and she smiles and she pulls out a coin out of her pouch and she flicks it to you, Hannibal, and you catch it and it's a platinum piece.
Looks good.
And she goes, that covers the interesting part of you guys coming in today.
What about the potions?
She does like she puts her hand over her face. She goes, "Oh right, potions. It's fine. You can have it back. I don't want it. It's basically water." And she shuffles to the back and she grabs the potion and brings it out and she goes, I think it's, well, I don't think. I never think. I always know. Knowing is half the battle. And I know a lot of things. I know most things, actually. All of the things that I know are most of the things that are known in the world. But these...
Hate you! Just from out the door.
This one here. This one appears to be resistance potion. Necrotic damage. Not sure what that's... Or necrotic. Interesting. But not a whole lot of necrosis going on over here. Especially not for me. I already have protection against that. Have most of the things. Know most of the things.
Okay, so apparently, I said, thank you very much, and I walk out, not wanting to trouble her with it. But before I do, I say, next time we're in town, let's get dinner. I'll bring more magic stuff.
She goes, I don't need food. Magic stuff is fine.
Go. So I have a potion of necrotic resistance.
Yep.
So each one of these
Or
potions...
you think you do.
Yeah, no, so apparently I have 6 different potions that I don't know what they do.
Right. So as you're leaving, Aelin, before you walk out the door, you feel what feels like a hand to grab your hand and turn you around. And as you turn around, there's nothing there. But you can see that the individual is that the halfling woman is standing there, and she's like motioning her hand like she's grabbed your hand. And you see just the faintest outline of this purplish hand that's holding onto yours and turned you around. And as the other two like continue walking, you're turned around. She says, You're prettier than the other one. Try not to end up the same. And then she releases you and walks off.
Elin, thoroughly confused, just shakes her head and leaves. But me as player is really sad.
Mm-hmm.
As we're walking out, I say to Chester, "Man, I like that girl."
I'm going to fucking stab her if I see her again.
So nice.
Mm.
Violence is not the answer, Chester.
Aelin, let's go. Chester storms off back to the boat.
Cool.
So I have an amazing thing. Yay!
Indeed.
Really
You
excited.
do.
Also, I got something I was really worried about removed from me.
Indeed. Yeah, it was a successful day all across the lands. Yes, I can, Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds great, Dalton. Okay, cool. So, as you guys head back to the boat and you get there and it takes off again to head back down the river over the course of the night, you guys begin to travel, and another 2 days passes. And it is evening on that second day. You guys have made really, really good time. And you are just outside the village of Trobach. Just outside the village of Trobach, and the evening is setting in, and still on the boat is Merrick and the Elvish woman, which during the course of the time that you guys have been like doing this, did anyone ever ask her name? Or Farron, you have her name actually. Never mind, I'm dumb. She's Karis, Lord Master Karis. And Merrick and Lord Master Karis have had a few brief interactions like on the deck, but not ever too long. Is there any other interactions during the time? Probably what you guys have noticed about them. Let me get into this. What you guys have noticed about them is Merrick spends a lot of his time like gazing into the fire or the coals a lot, or simply like just sitting on the deck somewhere, and also he seems to just always be awake. If he is sleeping, he seems to doze off for a few minutes and then wake back up on the deck. He doesn't ever seem to like do any other actual like legitimate sleeping. For Lord Master Karis, she appears in the morning every morning, and she performs some sort of like minor ritual when the sun rises, and then she does the same when the sun sets, and then a lot of the rest of her time is spent in her room. Also, during the course of this whole time, Farron, you've been playing, right? Because part of the deal was you were going to get to go cheaper if you played.
Yeah.
And when that occurs, very commonly, Lord Master Karis will attend, like when you're playing.
No.
Merrick, though, is just his silent, brooding self somewhere else on the deck.
Brilliant.
So during during the days leading up to Averheim and then the couple of days after Averheim, is there any other interactions anyone would take with those two individuals?
I'd attempt to talk to. I'd attempt to maybe strike up another conversation or two with Merrick, just talking about our travels a little bit, how he came from fighting Skaven.
Sure, yeah.
So, I don't know, something about him rubs me the right way.
Okay. So you probably like meet him.
Maybe have a drink or two with him on board.
Yeah, he probably if you say, hey, you wanna have a drink, he probably obliges. You find out he's I won't say he's pretty open, but he's very like truthful about what he says. Pretty blunt even. He definitely you find out that he was a soldier. But he's always very aloof about where. The location seems to be a matter of personal information that he's unwilling to share with most people, if anyone. for whatever reason. And I think that, like, you find out very quickly that he has an extreme, like, hatred and vendetta against greenskins. That is something that probably comes up when you guys are talking about your past battles. And, like, to the point of, like, you can see, like, the fire in his eyes and, like, you know, his burning desire to eradicate the entire universe of the greenskin threat to society.
All right, I take it on, sir. I tell him my hate for the creatures of chaos and things such as that.
Yeah, so how do you bring that up?
We're probably, when we were talking about what he does and how he's a soldier, I'd probably tell him I was a researcher, and my branch of study is things of chaos.
Yeah, and he probably, like, perks up a little bit, and he says, "Oh, that is interesting, my boy. What pray tell in this branch of study that you had does it say about creatures of chaos?"
Well, if I'm going to be honest here, I'm not much of a fan of them. After all, everything they're taken from me.
Yeah, he probably chuckles. He's like, "Yes, I would say that not many are fans of chaos, but it serves its purpose sometimes."
I agree with you more than you know.
Yeah, he kind of, like, nods. And I think that he nods, and it's the type of nod that, like, it's the "sure you do, buddy" nod. Not, like, offensively so, but it's the, like, "Oh yeah, chaos," and you know a chaos, and he's like, you know, he's clearly got something there that he feels is far worse than anything you could possibly have dealt with.
Sure.
But, like, not, like, he doesn't want to offend you, because, like, your beliefs are important as well, but, like, that's the kind of, like, nod you get.
Yeah, so I tell him that actually, there have been some recent cases that have been interesting up in Nuln, actually, where we're heading. There was a demon outbreak.
Yeah, and I think he just nods once, and he says, "I know, I've heard."
Well, what was interesting was when I dissected the corpses, I found weirdstone inside.
He doesn't even flinch. He just kind of, like, looks at you blankly, waiting for you to continue.
Which is interesting, considering the idea of weirdstone implementation isn't new. But it is strange, and, like, I would know that I would probably go into a little bit of a talk about, like, how the Skaven and how they use it, and basically I'm probably boring his ear off a little bit. I get into something I'm interested in, so
He seems pretty attentive to the whole thing. And he probably says, "It is interesting work what you research, Hannibal. Perhaps you could conduct some research on my behalf sometime. Maybe we could come to a better end."
I would love that very much, Merrick. And then we clink glasses.
Yeah, sure. He has a flask, and he clinks it with yours, and he takes a swig out of it.
Yeah, buddies.
Yeah, he's clearly, like, there's obviously a lot of stuff there, but there's also obviously a lot of stuff there for you, too. But, yeah, kindred souls would not be an inept description of what the two of you are, I think.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any interaction with any of the NPCs on the boat or each other?
I may as well continue kind of conversing
Supporting.
with Miss Lawmaster. Things like perhaps bringing a glass of wine to her, in the evening, and things. And
Sure, yeah. So, like, maybe, like, after her ritual, the little small ritual she does during sunset?
yeah,
Sure, yeah. So one of the days you approach her with a glass of wine, and she turns and is kind of startled a little bit by you being there, and she's like, "Ha." And she says in Elvish, she says, "Farron, I didn't see you there. I was just giving my blessing to the Phoenix King, you understand."
I know how much religion is important to certainly.
Yeah,
the
so
High
you
Court.
actually know the Phoenix King is actually the actual king of the High Elves.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a religious thing.
Well,
Um,
yes, I understand how important
Okay.
such things are.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah, and
Yes,
she
I
nods
would-
and she says, "You mentioned previously that your mother was of elvish blood."
Aye, that is true.
If I may be so unkind, perhaps, is she still with us?
I'm afraid not. It has been a fair while since her passing.
Well, may the god of the sea take her. But
Aye.
it is interesting. Not many elves that integrate with human society, and even far less so that bear children. Was your
Aye.
mother a refugee of some sort?
Aye, she was her residence was attacked by orcs long past, and she had to move up north into Kislev. Of course, as a refugee, things were rough, but she got help from a certain human who cared for her, gave her a roof over her head just to get her by, but too quickly shared feelings for each other. They would gaze across the sunsets at each other and, share in the merry pint of ale in the cold winter's night. Before you knew it, I was a longer way.
Yeah, and I think that when you finish telling her the story, she's like staring into her wine glass, and she's got like a smile on her face, but you can see her eyes are a little bit glassy. She's clearly very moved by your story, and she's like, well, at least it was true love and not something of lust or brutality. Of that, it is good and probably shows in your character, Farron. You are a kind man.
I thank you for your kind words. What about you? You sound almost forlorn from that story.
It is not as star-crossed lovers as yours is, but I do miss the homeland. I've been away for many a moon, and I am pleased to be returning, even though it means another multiple-month journey there. But advantage is, of course, that the elves, we don't change much over the course of 60 or so years.
Aye, that does help when it takes so long getting from here to there.
Yes, well, luckily my journey here was much swifter. I was able to use one of the ley lines to arrive at Marienburg directly.
Ah,
So you know that, the elves, out of all the races, probably the most powerful mages in existence.
Yeah.
And they regularly have the resources and ability to, transport people across far distances via, teleportation. It's just inherently easier for them. But still rare enough that, someone being able to use it or utilize it is still fairly rare and fairly important, use of resources.
yeah. It must have been fairly important for you to get down here in such a manner.
She says, yes, as dog lords. And she kind of, looks behind the towards the aft of the boat at the at Averheim. Maybe it's fading into the distance. Maybe it's the same day that the boat stopped in Averheim, and she's like, yes, the Dog Lords, they never want to do anything our way. It's a shame. It's a shame that we need their horses so, but there it is. The Isles are not as, well, accustomed to growing livestock as this continent.
Aye, that's maybe true, but I found with my travels that you can find companions in the oddest of places.
Yeah, and I think that she gives you kind of like a sly look and like holds up her wine glass as like a salute, and takes a swig, and I'm assuming the conversation probably turns much lighter, and you guys have a nice, maybe even turning into dinner, a nice quiet evening to yourselves.
We're all making BFFs.
As Chester sits in his room brooding.
About how to kill that halfling who, in
God.
neither of the 3 interactions that anyone had with her, asked her name.
So many plans.
Didn't need to know her name. Wasn't necessary.
It's true. It was unnecessary information. Extra.
She's the fucking Morden of this universe.
She
be
wouldn't
real.
she wouldn't say her name anyway, even if you asked.
Perhaps. She'd probably say something like, "What's in a name? Names are so useless. There's so many of them that you can go by. I can tell you that my name is anything, and you would believe me because I told you so."
Did you have this prepared?
Nope, that's all off the top of my head. You guys are sailing. It's 2 days later. You're approaching the village of Krobach, and Krobach doesn't sit immediately on the river. It's actually a little ways off the river, but it's visible. But they do have like the point at which you know you're there is they have a couple of like fishing huts with some docks that extend out for like some minor trade. The boat you have is probably just small enough to fit in one of those docks, or at least to pull up to one and tie off, but anything bigger than you, like any like legitimate large merchant barges, probably wouldn't be able to fit there.
Also, fun fact, I fixed heart sight. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So,
Yeah.
as you guys round the bend, you can see that there appears to be, as in all bad and good adventure stories, the watermill, and it's like it's proper nighttime now. Now that you guys have traveled down the river, and the watermill appears to be not in flame because it's stone, but like the or not the watermill. I'm sorry. The fishing hut. One of the docks appears to be burning. And that appears to kind of be the only thing amiss. There's like clearly like lights on, or I say lights, but probably like a fireplace burning in 2 of the huts, and then there's a large like cook fire out in the middle in between the 2 huts. But one of the docks is like clearly like engulfed in flames as you guys are coming by.
This is interesting.
And I think that probably like most importantly, oh man, I'm dumb. That you see that there's no one attempting to like put it out. You know what I mean? Like, if something caught on fire, there's nobody like getting buckets of water and like pouring it on the water or whatever. Does anyone of you do anything?
That place is on fire. I send Dane. Go check out the village.
Yeah. And so you see that Merrick has gotten up and he's staring kind of intently over in that direction. And he also has like his hand extended outwards towards it. And he closes his eyes and begins to like mumble under his breath.
I also begin to perceive through Dane's senses.
Yeah.
Buddy cop.
Yeah. This is now the buddy cop adventure.
Yeah.
So what
I'm excited. I made a friend.
perceive? Dane flies over. There appears to be some movement in the village itself, in the fishing huts. There appears to be a lot of movement, like shadows rustling by in like the light you can see under the door of the fishing villages. But the most important thing that Dane sees that there are littered around that cook fire. There are bodies. There's 3 bodies there, but they are not human. They are lizard folk.
Can I get him to scout inside the huts?
So that's not all he sees. Merrick turns to the person on duty, which is probably it's probably Gainsley. Gainsley's probably at the helm. He looks and he says, "Shipwright. Slow the ship down. I'm disembarking here. There are souls that need attending to."
They're dead lizardmen.
Yeah, and I think he turns and looks at you, and just like that look passes like from him to you, like obviously look, right?
Yeah.
And Dane also sees these large creatures, and you don't know what they are, Hannibal, but Dane does, just based on his innate knowledge of nature. They appear to be let me get the correct word for you here. He calls them a word, he calls them carnosaur.
Can I make a check to see if I know?
Yeah.
I know what it is, but
they're essentially large dragons, or not dragons, large
they're
lizard men.
dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're basically dinosaurs that are quadrupedal. And he also reports that there's 2 of them, and they each have saddles.
Okay. So I report this to my crew.
So Gainsley actually is talking with Merrick now, and he's shaking his head like, "No, I can't do that." And Merrick's talking with him, and he's like, "No, I can't do that." And Merrick like throws up his hands. He throws down the hood of his duster, and you see him. He goes up to the edge of the boat. He steps off, but you hear a, and he steps onto the shore as he just blinks onto the shore. And when he does that, Hannibal, your vision blurs, and you get a sharp headache momentarily. And then it's over. And I think that we see him illuminated. He holds out his left hand, and this fire engulfs his entire forearm, and it's red. It's like blood red as it runs up and down the length of his forearm. And he holds basically his arm out like a torch, and he has the whip in one hand, and he proceeds into the fishing village, and that's where we end.
Oh.
So I'm really happy with how the session turned out. I think I gained the most out of everybody.
Yeah.
Man, it just had to end there. Ah.
Indeed it did. Indeed it is. It is 10 o'clock. It is closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Well, we're going to stay here.
I mean, you
but,
could stay here if you wanted to. I'm not going to be here any longer. But thank you, everybody, for showing up today. Let me get you some experience and inspiration. How's that sound? That sound good to everyone?
Also, could you send me that stuff?
Yeah, I can tell you what item it is in the book with modifications that I made to it. Sure.
I don't have the book.
Okay. I will do that. So how much experience have I been normally giving? I don't know. It's been like 4 weeks or something like that.
3.
You guys are level 8, right?
Yeah. 20,000, please.
No, I don't think so. I think that is far too much.
Maybe in your eyes.
I think that it's probably reasonable for this particular session. Everybody can go ahead and take 1,200 experience. Congratulations.
I'm so proud of myself.
So, inspiration. I'm gonna give some inspiration to Chester for not killing him and Farron on the bucking bronco, but also for the cool thing of like trying to push his luck and go take it one step further. That was really cool. And I'm gonna give 3 inspirations today. No, only 2. Farron, you get inspiration for the revelation of your backstory and fleshing out a little bit. I think that was a really cool thing. I think that whole interaction was really cool. So you can have inspiration for that, sir.
Thank you very much, kind sir.
The rest of you have to work a bit harder. I'm just kidding. I still love
Nah.
you. I'm just kidding. I still love you.
Soon, TM.
Soon, TM. Thanks everybody for coming though. I'm gonna meet you and do outro, and then I'll come back and say goodbye to you guys.
Right.
Alrighty.
I'm sad that.
All right, stream. Thanks for showing up today. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you all. It was a very active stream today. I appreciate that from everybody in the chat. I really do. If you're interested in some more RPGs, you can come watch us Olympus. It's 5 p.m. EST on Sundays. We are playing this Sunday and then every other Sunday, basically forever. That's a sci-fi game. It's really cool. I have some really cool things lined up that I think I want to do in the future. So if something you're interested in is other games, other RPGs, perhaps running during the week, awesome. Stay tuned. I do some regular streams as well. So if you're interested in watching me play other games and being really bad at them, come check those out. Other than that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Appreciate you all. Appreciate all of the love. And we'll catch everybody in a couple of days. Bye.